Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's Dragonrider Happy Hour. Please let me know if you can hear me okay. My audio was being just a little bit wonky when I was testing it out before going live today, so let me know if it sounds all right. How's everybody doing? Welcome to the end of your work week, hopefully, and the beginning of your weekend. Again, hopefully for you. Dragonrider Happy Hour is the show where we hang out to wind down the work week and talk about all the gaming news from the week. A lot of it is gaming industry news, some of it's tech adjacent. But in today's show, we will be talking about gaming lawsuits everywhere, so many, League of Legends coming to Netflix, the new Ubisoft free-to-play Division game that was announced, PlayStation integrating Discord and what that's going to look like, plus Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade is going to be exclusive to PlayStation 5 for at least the first 6 months. So all those headlines and more, we're going to have a special guest join us in just a minute. So if you're here just for the news and want to skip to any of those particular chapters, you can certainly feel free to go ahead and do that. But if you're here for the news and the drinks as well, I would like to bring in Bartender Nate to tell you what we're drinking today. Bartender Nate. Woohoo!
Hello! Today we are drinking the Vauquerie, and anybody who is French, I'm just going to apologize for that wonderful pronunciation. I put the drink recipe in the Discord chat and also in the top of the YouTube comments, so you'll have to scroll a bit, I'm sure, depending on where you're at in this. But this is one of the many drinks that I like that my wife does not like, so I'll probably be drinking this. It translates to, I think, the square, the town square is what that means. So this drink was made at a bar called the Carousel Bar in New Orleans. It has, a couple of ingredients that isn't in your typical household bar. So it's got, let's see here, it has one of the things that probably most people aren't super familiar with is Benedictine, which is it's kind of a medicinal liqueur. And then it has a sweet vermouth, rye, and bitters, and what else am I missing? And cognac. So it's a nice cold, it's like a nice fall, it's a nice spring drink or fall drink, really depending on sort of what your preferences are. I like it, it's really smooth. Trisha thinks it tastes like a shoe and it's a little boozy for her. So if that's not your jam, then you know what? Cider is hers and it might be yours.
So I'm going to be drinking a cider and Nate is going to enjoy his lovely beverage that he has made. It's quite good. It's quite refreshing. I just am not a fan of rye whiskey myself, and it tastes a little much like rye whiskey for me. So I'm going to trade you. Mm-hmm. There you are. Thank you, sir. And cheers.
Bye. Oh, yeah, cheers first, and then... How could you not like this? Although, to be honest with you, I think normally I put in a little bit more Benedictine, and that probably would have helped with it. But anyway, bye.
Bye. Enjoy your beverage. So yes, so for those of you who are in the Discord and want to see how that drink recipe is made, or how that drink is made, Nate mentioned he put the recipe in the Discord already, so make sure to go check that out. If you're not already a member of the Discord, the link is below in the description. So now it's time to bring in our special guest for this episode before we get to the news. Here we've got Maud Garrett. Welcome, Maud.
Yay! High five.
Hi. Yes, high five. Welcome to my bar. We were just talking about before we went live today the potential of Maud coming to do Dragonrider Happy Hour in person once we are all full efficacy.
Yes, I want a drink. That would be lovely.
That would be lovely. But then Bartender Nate can make drinks for everyone, and it will be a good time. Welcome to everybody who's here today. Rob K says rye whiskey is great, Trish. I know, everybody has a different palate. I get that. Took it home to Jenny, Rob K. Hi, everybody. I see you all here. Catherine Stewart, how's it going? Welcome. So, Maud, what are you drinking today?
Water! I got my second vaccine this week and it knocked me on my butt for just a day. But apparently the real trick is to not celebrate the fact that you got the second vaccine and felt okay for the afternoon. And so you celebrated by drinking wine, but instead drinking water. So I'm learning that lesson just a little bit too late. So I'm just doubling down.
I saw whole articles written about that of, is it okay to drink to celebrate that you got your vaccine or not? And there were, I think, mixed reviews on it, but I also, pretty much everyone I know did exactly that.
Yeah,
So,
this is why this is a PSA.
so do not worry. All right, so folks, yes, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Maud, for coming to happy hour at my bar today and hanging out. There was so much news this week, I couldn't whittle it down. I usually only do a few stories and we spend longer on them, but I feel like we have a larger amount of stories today. So let's go ahead and jump right into the first one. The first one we'll talk about today is Final Fantasy VII's remake. Square Enix has said is going to be exclusive to the PlayStation 5 for at least the first 6 months. Now, there was a new trailer released just today for the game, and the game is launching June 10th. And I'm saying the game even though it's kind of like a DLC add-on hybrid. I'm not sure if they've specifically said what it will be called, but it does show more of the expanded story. There's a new Yuffie chapter. There's some boss fights that were shown in the new trailer that we saw today. And Square Enix did then confirm that Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade will be a PS5 exclusive for the first 6 months. And both Final Fantasy 16 and Forspoken are from this, are both supposed to be PS5 exclusives as well. So it's not like that was a surprise. And for PS4 Final Fantasy VII Remake owners, you will be able to get the next gen upgrade for free. So that's some good news at least. But if you want Intergrade in the Yuffie chapter, etc., that will be an additional purchase. So my question to Maud and to everyone watching today is, do you think that the PS5 exclusivity is a poor move considering how few people actually have hands on the PS5? Tim says in Super Chat, 2 of my favorite people. Glad I was able to make it today, by the way, Maud. This is Artist Tim. Cheers.
Hi, Artist Tim. Artist Tim has done some of the best portraits, and they're found on my Instagram art time. Tim's done 2 of them. They're spectacular. So big hello, Tim.
Love that. So Maud, do you think this is a poor move or is this an expected move on Square Enix and Sony's part?
I think we're going to see a little bit more of this sort of exclusivity happening. Personally, it doesn't affect me at all in the sense that I have only been playing the last couple of Final Fantasy games on my PlayStation, so I find it to be synonymous to it. But I'm one of those people that still don't have a PlayStation 5. I haven't gotten my hands on one of those. But I haven't finished Final Fantasy VII Remake yet.
Oh, you'll
I beat
enjoy
that
it
house,
so much.
and I was like, boom.
You'll enjoy it so much. I'm glad that you'll like it. But yeah, so that's my question is like, I expected the Sony exclusivity, right? But I wonder why, and I guess because they're urging everyone to get the next hardware if they can. My thought would be if you want to be PlayStation exclusive, at least make it available on PS4 as well, PS4 and PS5, but they're not. It's a PS5 exclusive from what I understand. I see a lot of people in chat saying that you hate exclusives. Jimmy Sprinkle says, I can wait 6 months, so I'm okay with that. And previous Final Fantasy games have had their period of timed exclusivity before porting over to Xbox or PC, so that's always an option as well. Let's see. You guys said Kelly says focus is being odd. Is my focus being odd? I'm sorry. You're drinking beer, root beer, Barks. Steven says Sony might have the fan base that they can jerk them around a little. I mean, people know Sony does exclusives. People know Sony doesn't do cross-platform, which we're going to talk about in a little bit later.
But
in today's
Xbox
episode.
and Bethesda getting cuddly. So, this is what's happening at the moment. There's always been senses of exclusivity. And I understand why people are bothered by it, because not everyone can have every single console. So it's definitely like a privileged thing to not be affected by it if you've got all of them anyway. But it's not a new thing, and I don't see it disappearing anytime soon. But I like the fact that it's not exclusive forever. It's just for a set amount of time. So it's rewarding the loyalty, and loyalty exists in gaming with consoles of choice. But I like that, it's just a waiting game. But I also and I question back to you, Trisha, and to the chat. Do you have a hype window? So when a game comes out, do you only want to play it once it's new and fresh and exciting and everyone's playing it? Because I know that, Trish, you're playing, is it Horizon Zero Dawn?
Horizon Zero Dawn, I was just going to say that.
Yeah, it's a game that came out a little bit, but people are still like, oh yeah, I played that, loved it. And so now it's been a couple of years that I've sort of forgotten it. So I'm really enjoying watching you play it.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I mean, that came out 4 years ago. So to me, I think the answer to that question is it depends on the game, right? If I'm only in the hype window in the very beginning. because I'm in the hype window in the very beginning for a lot of stuff, just because I want to be able to experience it, so that, you know, Maud, when you and I are having conversations about the games we're playing, I can speak intelligently to a specific game. Like, I want to have played it a little bit. So that's kind of my initial hype window, is to get a feel for a new game and understand what it's like. Now, as far as a full playthrough of a game, I will certainly go back to a title that's a little older, if the lore and the gameplay happen to grab me and I just never finished it for whatever reason. But yeah, I mean, going back to the exclusivity, and chat, weigh in on that please as well. Going back to the exclusivity, it's not weird to me that it's a Sony exclusive. It's weird to me that they would choose to make it a PS5 exclusive, not just a PlayStation exclusive, given how hard it's been for people to get their hands on PS5s. I'm like, that's Sony's old strategy is, yes, it's the new console exclusive, buy the new console, buy. But given the pandemic and the chip shortage and how hard it's been for people to get new next-gen consoles, I wonder if that could hurt Square Enix's game sales in the first 6 months. All right, let's see. Matthew Henry says, I want to know the game is good before buying it. So disappointed with ME4, really. Rob K says, my hype window is 2 to 5 weeks. Something new usually comes out after that. And that's another part of it, when the hype window for something else comes out.
Yeah. There's a lot of fast-finished games, or games that I only spent about 2 or 3 hours playing, and I was like, this isn't really capturing me completely. And I wish I didn't buy it, and it's too late to get a refund.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I think is also so lovely about people being able to stream a game before it's released. Like, I was able to stream Resident Evil Village the day before. I had to skip some cutscenes to avoid spoilers and stuff like that. But being able to show people the gameplay so you can decide if you want to drop a whole bunch of money or not, because I watch other streamers for that reason too. I'll go in and see what someone else is playing to decide if I want to buy it. So having like a small window of being able to kind of shop around before launch day is cool, or even if it is just on launch day to watch people play it to decide if I want to purchase it. I think that's really nice to have as well. Yeah. So yeah, wrapping that up, Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade and the Yuffie chapter will be exclusive to PS5 from what we've seen. All right, next up.
I love that chat's talking about the game that they wish they had a little bit more information or looked into a little bit more than they did before buying it. We all know mine's Persona 5. Okay. But then Stephen was saying that his was Dead Rising, $60 for a whole lot of nothing. And it's like, we've all got that game.
Oh, yeah. I tend to enjoy most of the games I drop lots of money on. That being said, speaking of Final Fantasy 15, I bought a physical copy of.
I liked it.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 15, I bought a physical copy of. I was so excited to play it. I bought it while I was pregnant, and I thought, because, you know, it was my first time ever being pregnant. I didn't know what pregnancy was like. I was like, look, when I get to the end of my pregnancy and I'm like on bed rest or whatever, I'm just going to sit here and play through this entire game. I bought it specifically for that. But that's not how my pregnancy went. And I worked very up and close until I delivered. So it's still in the plastic wrap somewhere in my house. So I bought that and it never came out, which was very, very sad. I would pour one out, except for I have electronics in here. So I'm not going to pour one out for Final Fantasy 15. But maybe someday I'll go back. Okay, next big news, and Maud, I don't know if you heard about this, but League of Legends is coming to Netflix. So
is it a show?
Yeah, Netflix freaked us all out. I think it was yesterday or the day before or something like that, and tweeted out, the world of League of Legends is coming to Netflix. Arcane drops this fall. So Arcane is an animated League of Legends spin-off series, and this will be the first League of Legends show. So Netflix, we don't know much about it. It's been very vague. Netflix has called it an event series, which, Maud, you do more work in entertainment than I do. So my thought was event series means it's like a one-season thing, not a multi-season thing. What would you take event series to mean?
All right, I'm going to flex a little bit here. I did a Clubhouse room with the showrunner of Arcane. Nice. And we were talking about Arcane. Yeah. So I don't really understand like the event side of it all. I think it is going to just be like a contained story, but they're exploring, like they're doing their world building and exploring like parts of the LoL universe, which I think is going to be super great, but they're focusing on really spectacular animation for it. They're getting, I'm pretty sure like the voice actors that are going to do the series, but they're basically like wanting to completely expand the universe. This is a Riot thing, I'm pretty sure, but they're taking over. It's going to be huge.
Well, and then Netflix said on their site, this is the description from the Netflix site, that it's set in the utopian region of Piltover and the oppressed underground of Zon, I believe is how you pronounce it. I'm not too deep in League of Legends lore, to be frank. And then it will chart the origins of two iconic League champions and the power that will tear them apart. Dun, dun, dun. And Riot has said that Arcane is really going to be for the fans who've been asking for more of a cinematic type of deep lore, kind of similar to like Overwatch has done with their cinematic shorts. Now, Netflix has a ton of video game properties right now. They're doing a 4th season of Castlevania, a 2nd season of Dota, Dragon's Blood, which I was like, Netflix has a Dota series? I didn't even realize that. Resident Evil Infinite Darkness, a new Sonic the Hedgehog series named Sonic Prime, an animated Tomb Raider show, plus the 2nd season of The Witcher's coming out, but you all know I count that more as a book series than a video game series, and a live-action Assassin's Creed, and it has the streaming rights to Sony's upcoming Uncharted film. So Netflix is like all the video game properties, but now again, my question is, you know, I compared this to Overwatch's cinematic shorts. Do we think going the Netflix route is a better move in like an event series like this than releasing cinematic shorts independently, similarly to Overwatch has done? What do you think, Maud?
One more time with that question. I got distracted by saying hi to Catnip Ninja.
That's all right. Say hi to everybody in chat. Jordan Walshin in chat says, I know nothing about League of Legends, but the trailer looked good. Might give it a watch despite my biases against the series. And people are saying, yes, League of Legends. Some people have biases against that game, particularly because of its extra toxic game community or the reputation it has for having an extra toxic gaming community, if you will. Steven says, aren't they also doing a Resident Evil show? I mean, maybe. Netflix has the name, so that will help them. My question was, we've seen Overwatch have great success with their cinematic shorts that they release on their own independently. And do we think that going the Netflix actual series animated show route is a better move than releasing your own independent cinematic shorts, or a worse move, or maybe a similar move? So if you're saying that it's the Netflix name that might help it out, or as you were saying in chat earlier, you're not really into the game, so you might not follow their individually launched shorts, but maybe you'll give it a chance now that it's on Netflix. What do you think, Maud?
100% that. It's a brilliant move. The fact that Netflix is going to bank on that LOL community being massive, and so they're guaranteed eyeballs on it. But at the same time, League of Legends is going, we have such a strong sort of like insular community anyway. We need to get people that aren't sort of obsessed with video games, but maybe they're into animation, to learn more about the lore. So you're combining two worlds in a really effective way.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see what happens. My only thought to in favor of the side, I should say, of releasing it independently is, and we've seen this with media before, where a community who's traditionally an online community doesn't necessarily translate super well to the more traditional media. Now, Netflix is hard because it's kind of that hybrid in between traditional media and online community media. Wouldn't you say so?
Yeah, I get what you're saying with that. I just think that people consume media in such unique ways, and that if you only like video games, you're not going to watch shows as well.
Right.
And I think by not calling it League of Legends, I think by calling it Arcane, they're almost separating that identity enough to get and pull in new viewers. So I think you could almost enjoy the series as a standalone and not have any interest or play video games. But if you do like the game, then you're getting bonus extra fleshed out content.
Yeah,
Again,
that's a good way to, I always worry, just as a digital creator, I always worry that when the community is primarily a digital community, that, you know, we've seen, and maybe this is like going the way of extinction now, but we've seen digital creators get opportunities to have traditional media shows, and then they flop because so much of their audience is like, well, I don't have cable, or, you know, I'm prefer to watch on my computer. But yeah, like I said, Netflix is that weird hybrid, so it might be the perfect stepping stone. It might be.
Wonderful.
Pima Matthew 23 says, I hope they do Resident Evil show is good. You know what? Anytime there's a video game property ported to more traditional media, I always hope that it's good. I always try to be optimistic. Andrew Thomas is the only video game media that I've watched is Sonic and Super Mario Brothers. You mean like way back in the day or recently?
Dude.
Let me know. Castlevania's been great.
Super Mario Brothers used to have a morning show. They used to run down the pipe like that. Is anyone old enough to remember that?
Oh yeah, back in the day. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I remember that with the Legend of Zelda show too. The excuse me, princess.
Princess. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But he was brunette. I can never get over that.
And it was the only time Link talked.
Yeah, and that's why, because he's a brat when he speaks.
Sean Gentry said, we all know the Legend of Zelda cartoon is the bar. And yes, Castlevania is so good. I always get tripped up because I first started watching the series with Logan in the room because in my mind I'm like, oh, animated. And then I was like, nope. Because it's very adult. Don't watch it with children in the room. For sure. Christopher Chaparro says, Netflix is decently solid when it comes to adaptations, so I have faith. I love that. Jenny says, I'm so cautious when it comes to all video game adaptations. I'm not quite burned, but I'm very hesitant. And I think a lot of us feel that way. That is very, very fair. All right, so our next topic that I have for us to talk about today is, so we speculated about this a while ago on Dragonrider Happy Hour and Mod. I don't know if you were at Happy Hour that time when we were talking about this, but we were talking about who might buy Discord because there were rumors that Discord was for sale, and then Discord was like, I am not for sale. That is fake news. But Microsoft now we are finding out. So Discord is still not for sale. Let me just preface it saying that they are still their own independent company. But Sony has announced on their blog that they are partnering with Discord as an investor to, quote, integrate with your social experience on PlayStation beginning early next year. Now, I am obviously a huge Discord fan, but I also am curious, how is this going to integrate? How is this going to work? They've been very vague on the details. What they have said is our goal is to bring the Discord and PlayStation experiences closer together on console and mobile starting early next year, allowing friends, groups, and communities to hang out, have fun, and communicate more easily while playing games together. So does this mean there might be a Discord app on PlayStation? Does this mean that it might be integrated into the PlayStation Network group chat features? And obviously Sony is investing some money to make this happen. So I think while at Happy Hour we were all speculating that it was going to be Microsoft because that was the rumor at the time, it was interesting and surprising to many people to see Sony come out with this announcement and speculate as to what it could mean. So Maud, do you have any theories?
I really like the fact that it would be an integrated app where it's like you've done all your community building, so that if you were able to play sort of PlayStation, it would make that sort of chat experience and like streaming experience really great. Because out of both the UI for PlayStation social side of it and for Xbox, I think Xbox has a beat. I would use the social components of Xbox a lot more than PlayStation, albeit I do have a lot less friends on PlayStation than I do on Xbox. But I think that would be a really cool addition, and I think it could easily happen. I'd also like to know the inverse of that, where if it's like, can you stream your PlayStation directly into your Discord? Because I know that Discord recently, you're able to do your voice calls, but you can do video calls now for up to like 12 or so people. Yeah. So like, can you have your image and then the big screen be gameplay and like stream it into the Discord like that? So I want to know which way we're going with it.
Maybe both. Who knows? That's an interesting, I hadn't even thought about that, but that's an interesting thing they could have done with it. Rob K says, yes, Sony Discord app, make it happen. Steven says, exclusive Kratos emotes. I mean, maybe, you don't know. And Jimmy says it could go either way, depending on how it works together technology-wise. Absolutely. Steven says, in general, you think Xbox is for multiplayer and Sony/Nintendo is for single player, but that's all,
that's how I feel.
In the process of changing. I understand why you would have that concept in your mind. The thing that I think about is I'm like, yes, Discord on console would be great because in my mind, I'm like, then for me on PC and my friends who are on other platforms, we could all just jump into Discord chat and have very seamless, easy audio chat between the different platforms. But we know that Sony is notoriously anti-cross-platform play. So I don't think that's their move. I don't think they're incorporating Discord so that you can have easier audio chat no matter what platform you're playing on. So that's why that would make the most sense to me, which is maybe why Microsoft was looking at it initially, because then their PC players and their Xbox players who do have cross-platform play could easily jump into chats.
I have a question about Discord. How does Discord make its money?
Some people buy Nitro, but I'm sure that's not it. They must have other, I think they're publicly funded, so I'm sure they have investors and that kind of stuff, but...
Yeah, I saw Stephen Summers said, you know what, let Discord make their money. And I kind of feel the same. They've given us such an amazing free service for so long.
Yep. And
it's like such a great community builder. We got one for Geek Bomb. You got one for Dragonriders. I have like little ones to like chat with my girls. Like I love it. But yeah, I just thought like, how are they making any revenue? Because there's no ads.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I absolutely love Discord and have for a long time. Took it home to Jenny, says, as someone who has no PlayStation or intend to use PlayStation, I just hope that any changes that occur do not negatively affect my general PC usage of Discord. And I would agree with that as well. And, as you expand, it's always important to make sure there's bandwidth to still keep up the same quality of service that you have before. So that's a great point, Jenny. Mr. Yasman says, I remember Discord having a game store. Is it still up? I do not remember that. Is that a thing?
So it's like you can either buy it on Steam or GOG or Discord?
Yeah, right? And we'll talk more about games purchase platforms in a moment later in the show as well. Cat Ninja says, I think they fund via Nitro, honestly. So many people server boost with Nitro.
Wow.
Yeah, and I've thought about server boosting before just to get like a custom Discord link, because I think that's one of the benefits you can get when you partner, and having Nitro and partnership are very closely intertwined.
Geekbomb's got one.
What?
Geekbomb has it. Discord.gg/Geekbomb.
Oh, I'm going to have to talk to you then, because I think when I tried to do it, it was like, you can't do it unless you're a partnered Discord server. And then when I tried to apply for partner Discord server, it was like, we're not taking partners at this time. It was like during pandemic. So maybe that's changed. Maybe it's opened back up. Apparently my camera focus is being very weird. It's supposed to focus on faces. But it wouldn't be focusing on Maud's face, because Maud's face isn't actually here. This is all virtual. So I don't know what it's focusing on. It's supposed to focus on faces. Let's see. James Wisdom says, but if Discord is a buffer that stops Sony having to actually connect to others a la crossplay, that might actually make Sony more open to it. Well, we shall see. We just had a leak. You know what? I'll just skip right to this. We just had a leak recently in the Epic versus Apple lawsuit, which, like gaming lawsuits everywhere right now, very interesting because they're divulging all of this stuff. But one of the things that leaked in this lawsuit was just how much Sony really hates crossplay. Like, just how much on the back end they're like, this is the absolute worst. Like, we all know Sony doesn't like crossplay, but to actually see like official documents where they come out and say it pretty harshly, it was kind of funny and surprising for people. So if you're not caught up on this, the Epic versus Apple lawsuit is a wild, wild rodeo of entertainment for people who are watching it. But basically last year, Epic Games intentionally broke Apple's rules by putting its own payment processing system in the iPhone version of Fortnite, thereby bypassing Apple's 30% cut that they take of everything purchased in the App Store. And Apple then kicked Fortnite off of the iOS App Store. Then Epic sued Apple, saying that Apple has a monopoly. So now, that happened all before. Now the trial is finally here, and you can watch it. And when they first had it broadcast, Maud, I don't know if you were tuned in for this, when they first had it broadcast, they accidentally had their audio settings wrong, where everyone watching could talk into the trial instead of just being able to listen. And there were lots of very angry children saying very crude things about what they might do to get Fortnite back on iPhone. So that
Still
was
not as bad as the time when the lawyer was a cat.
Lawyer Cat's hilarious, and I love that. No, it was definitely bad though. They're in official court, and there's kids, 13-year-old trash talk, which is incredibly vulgar, being broadcast over the whole trial nationally. Whoops! Take care of your chat settings there, folks. So that was a bit. But like I said, this whole thing's just been wild to watch. But now that the trial's going on, basically, Epic is having to argue that Apple's rules are anti-competitive and unfair, and that iPhones should be treated more like Windows PCs, where you can buy your games from a variety of different places and then play them on that hardware. And it's because Epic wants to make their own Epic Games Store that you can install and buy things off of for their Epic Games Multiverse, but on iPhone. And Apple is saying they're definitely not a monopoly. They're a game transaction platform, and they consider their competitors to be the Google Play Store, Steam, PlayStation, Xbox, and out of those, they're just a small percentage of the business. So there's no way, shape, or form that they are a monopoly. So then the arguments become, if Apple is a hardware platform, so they have, do they have an aftermarket monopoly? And that's what Epic's trying to argue. So they're going to have to hash this all out legally of how everything is qualified, if you will. But there's been a lot of arguments like, why is Epic then okay with PlayStation taking a 30% cut? Or Xbox, which I believe does as well. And Apple was like, well, if you want all your V-Bucks money, why don't you just have the app redirect them to a website in Safari where they can buy it, and then it wouldn't be through the App Store. But then Epic's like, well, that's inconvenient and people won't do it. And, so this is all being hashed out back and forth. But why this is important to the gaming industry and why I wanted to talk about it on today's Dragonrider Happy Hour is because if Epic wins this, it could force Microsoft and Sony to open both Xbox and PlayStation to other game stores, to all different types of software. Interesting, right?
What would that look like?
Right, like could you buy PlayStation Store games and play them on your Xbox? Could you, what would that look like? Plus the other reason, like I said, that this is important to the gaming industry is because there's secret documents being leaked and let out all over the place. They're trying to get better about it now, and now it's pendulum swung in the other direction where every document they're like, I submit this as evidence. Everyone's like, redacted, because all these third-party companies that are being referenced in some of these documents are like, please don't share that. That's our confidential information. But before they got super cautious about that, we got Sony revealing that they hate crossplay in a document. And that Walmart made an attempt once at a cloud gaming service. Like all this stuff is being leaked in the stuff of the trial. So yeah, it's great popcorn watching for sure. It is a total mess. Let's see. ShadeX says, I don't like either Epic or Apple. That's okay. You don't need to. Steven says Apple versus Microsoft is a bad divorced couple. I mean, maybe. Would it not just be jurisdiction specific though, says Scott? I don't know. I mean, this is what the industry is talking about, is what that could mean. So that's the Epic v. Apple thing. Again, that trial is going on right now. If you want to watch it, you totally can. I think it's supposed to go on for the next 3 weeks or so. This was week 1 of it. But then another lawsuit that's going on right now in the gaming world is why I'm like, lawsuits be crazy, and all the stuff we've been talking about with PlayStation's restricting purchases of digital PlayStation games to the PlayStation Store. Consumers are suing them and saying that that is unlawful. Again, in a very similar Apple iOS App Store, PlayStation's PlayStation Store. And this happens, I didn't even know this had happened, but apparently back in 2019, PlayStation said no one else can sell digital codes for PlayStation games. So previously you could buy a digital download code for a PlayStation game at your local brick and mortar game store or on Amazon or wherever, GOG, wherever. In 2019, PlayStation said, no more of that. And Nintendo has apparently done a similar thing, suspending European retailers from selling first-party digital download codes. So
Right.
now consumers are like, well, that's not fair. I should be able to get my game from whatever store I want to get it from, because if PlayStation is the only one selling the digital download code and they say it's $70, then it's always going to be $70 and there's no competitive market driving down that price. Whereas if you buy physical media and multiple different retailers can sell it, you're probably going to get a better deal on it. Just as an example, this morning I bought a copy of Borderlands 2 for a friend as a gift. And on Steam, it was $39.99 for the complete edition. And on Humble Bundle, it was less than $8 for a Steam code. So because of that competitive market pricing, I could go to Humble, get it for $8. But if Steam had a monopoly on that, I would have been forced to pay $39.99. So for consumers, having competition in the pricing market is really great. And do consumers have a point that Sony saying no one else can sell digital download codes is or should be illegal? It's very interesting.
Yeah. I'm also saying, like, one of the things that I'm struggling with at the moment is, yes, you can go straight to the source to buy the game, but then you've also got the third-party digital codes as well. So I've managed to buy a few games twice.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you can gift them, right? No, so you're saying you accidentally bought stuff twice? Oh.
Yeah.
Giveaways. Giveaways are good. Al Captain Place says, sounds like that should be unlawful to me. And I saw someone say, you get a lawsuit and you get a lawsuit. Yeah, that's what's happening in the gaming world right now. It is. Jimmy Sprinkles says, competition's always helpful. And Harney was talking about another store that maybe was plagued with stolen credit card purchase issues and reselling, and that's happened before with certain stores. So obviously you only want to shop from a store that you trust and that you're okay with their ethical practices. James Wisdom says, I almost always buy physical because it's usually cheaper. I'd rather get digital, but it's just not worth it. So yeah, we are able to have this competitive pricing on the physical because other stores can still sell them. But not on the digital. So it's just very interesting. And so, I mean, the question for discussion then is, what outcomes do we think could come from these lawsuits that could be good for consumers? And what could come out of this that maybe would be poor for consumers?
I completely agree with, like, we are moving away from physical and have been for a while into the digital, but to monopolize the way that digital sales are being made, yeah, that's bad. And I think that we need to kind of replicate what retailers in physical can do in that digital world too. Yeah,
and you know, like Humble that donates a portion of the proceeds to charity is great. And then there's all this discussion of, especially in the Epic versus Apple, of what is the store's cut. And Xbox and Microsoft just made major moves there, saying if you purchase a game from the Microsoft store, I think they just lessened the amount that they take to 12%, whereas Steam and a bunch of other major ones are 30%. So that's very dev friendly. So as a consumer, you could choose to purchase from a store that gives a bigger cut to the devs if you want to, but that gives you consumer options as opposed to only having one place to go.
Yeah. And you're right. I've experienced that big time with Nintendo Digital. They don't have sales much, if ever, you know. So when even 2-3 years after the game, you're still paying full price for that game. Why? Because they're the ones doing the digital sale. Yeah.
So yeah, you'd have to buy the physical copy and see if you can get a deal on the physical copy somewhere else.
Yep.
That would be your way to find it. Catnip says, I absolutely love Humble Bundle. Bartleby Prime says, there's a ton of developer work in making cross-platform third-party apps that work well all the time. One of the reasons companies like Microsoft, Sony don't like them. And that totally makes sense. Al Captain says, this reminds me of Blockbuster lawsuit for videos. Companies wanted to keep Blockbuster from renting them out, but court said no, they own the hardware. Interested. And Estremel says, don't get me started on the Nintendo store.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's yowza indeed, Fast Eddie. So that is a whole bunch of lots going on there for sure. And all we can do is follow it to see what comes out of it. Shade X, thank you for the super chat. Says, by the way, thanks for the quote tweet mod, or whoever at Geek Bomb did that. Watching your SourceFed Nerd Star Wars 360 in VR on my new Oculus Quest 2 was fun.
I know. I actually wanted to tweet about that. This something I did for SourceFed, Trish.
I remember seeing it when it came out.
Oh, it was awesome. So yeah, I got to post that again so people can watch that. I did a very bad British accent, and I also had dyed my hair green. And I was like, "There's no green hair in the Star Wars universe," so I had to dye it like a dark brown to try and cover it up, and my hair just looked like sludge. Yeah.
Oh no!
The things I did for that job.
For your art, the things you do for art.
Yeah, for the things I do for Star Wars.
Steven
wrote something too.
Yeah, Steven, speaking of Star Wars, says unrelated, but happy Star Wars month. I'm celebrating with movies, shows, and Mod's 360 short. Cheers.
Cool.
Love it. Let's see. Haswell1150 Twitch says having exclusivity on your own platform is anti-competitive. That's exactly what's being figured out here. And what's being decided here. James Wisdom says Zelda is still $59.99 pounds digital on Switch. It has never dropped in price and is 10 pounds more. I hope that's pounds. Sorry for my monetary ignorance if it's not. More than most other Switch games, so I refuse to buy it. See if you can buy a physical copy somewhere. That's what I would say about that. Yeah, Jenny says, I remember that 360 Star Wars video when it was posted. Huzzah! Huzzah! All right, so...
Yeah, I had to learn choreography for it.
What was that?
I did my own stunts. And I had to learn choreography for it.
Yes! I love it. Fight choreo is awesome. I am a big fight choreo nerd myself. So yay Mod. Beautiful. Mod, did you see the new lightsaber?
Yes, how does it work?
I don't know how it works, but I would love to know. Yeah. I just saw the teaser video and it looks amazing.
What color lightsaber would you get? Oh, I'm glad you don't know, because on geekbomb.net we have a quiz that determines what lightsaber you should get.
Okay.
Or what you are.
I will have to do it after the stream.
Trisha.
I will have to do it after the stream. I love that.
I got the dark freaking saber, and I'm like, man, this is either absolutely perfect or I'm not a good person inside.
I am very excited now to find out. Which one were you again, Mod?
Dark saber. I was like the key to Mandalore. Dark saber. Which I think is just like, it is beautiful. Oh, I even sounded evil when I said that. It is beautiful.
Oh, good. Now I'm excited to take that quiz. Thank you, Mod.
I have an idea of what your color is going to be.
What's your guess?
I was going to write it in the chat, but you can see the chat. So look away from the chat just for a little bit.
Okay. You can put it in Discord. I'm not seeing that right now if you want to put it in Discord. But it works like a measuring tape, if you can imagine that, says my ninja. Okay, I can imagine that. Cool. So yeah, we'll have to see. I wonder if it has to do with rollable OLED technology. It's probably not OLED, but maybe the same type of thinking or design behind it or something similar. Anyway, the last news item that I had to talk about today was that Ubisoft came out and surprised everybody and was like, hey, surprise, there's going to be a new Division game and it'll be free to play. So the Division Heartland will be a standalone free-to-play game on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. We don't know if it's releasing end of 2021 or sometime 2022. And we know it's being developed by Ghost Recon Studio, Red Storm Entertainment. And you can already register for playtests right now. So this just came out of the blue. Yay, happy news for Division fans. And not much is known except for that you don't have to have played the other Division games to enjoy this one, supposedly. And that it will be a different perspective on the Division universe. So shout out to my Division fans in chat. Rob K says, I celebrated May the 4th by rescuing some Padawans. You're welcome, everyone. And happy Friday to you as well, Janari. And TGMDK says, oh, I love Division 2. What do you hope to see out of this new Division game? Mod, are you a big Division player?
I never was. I'm not really an FPS kind of person, but I know that Division did enough to be competitive in the sort of like COD and front field market, but I don't play it. I remember playing it like at the EA booth a few E3s ago, like quite a few E3s ago. But yeah, nah, not my thing.
Yeah, I think this is just the rumors I've been hearing. I think that Division 2 never had a standalone survival mode like the first Division did, and I know a lot of people have been asking for that, and there was no confirmation they were ever working on that. So I feel like the Division Heartland might be that Division 2 standalone survival mode. That's just a guess, though. I have nothing. That's just my guess.
I'm surviving day to day. I don't need it in a game too. Yeah.
Well, it's so funny because you like Outlanders so much, and so many people compare Outlanders to Division.
Oh, so it's like Division. If Division was a little bit more sci-fi, we got to finish Outriders. We're so close. I feel. We just gotta. We do.
We gotta find a time to just finish it.
Just finish.
Let's see. Shadex says free to play. What kind of microtransactions, though? Always the question when you hear free to play.
Division EA, right? I'm pretty sure EA. Yeah, of course it's microtransactions.
Michael Peppertech says, I wonder how many people will move away from iPhones if Apple's forced to allow third-party app stores, since it essentially allows bypass of Apple's policies and makes it more susceptible to viruses.
What is that person's name?
Michael Peppertech.
That is the best name. Peppertech. That's sick.
Yep. I don't know that it makes it necessarily more susceptible to, I guess it's more susceptible to apps that might steal your data. I wouldn't necessarily say to viruses or to apps that might force close or not perform well, because they wouldn't be going through the App Store's quality assurance testing. Now, you could only choose to download apps from the App Store, I guess, if that's what you're worried about, and that's probably exactly how Apple would market it. Let's see. Harbchan says, I'm looking forward to the Mass Effect Legendary Edition release next week. Dun, 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 dun. Yes, and so I wanted to ask everybody, what do you hope to see out of this new Division game? I told you what my theory is. We'll see. Kevin Petty says, Division 2 flopped with patched and never ever followed up with crowd support. That's important, for sure.
That's a bit Ubisoft.
Ubisoft and EA all the same for in-game transactions. Ooh, ouch. Them's fighting words right there, Luigi.
Yeah, it's true though.
Yes. Steven says, I might take off work to play Mass Effect Legendary. Nice. Michael Peppertech says he loved you loving his name.
It just sounds like the best, like, made up British spy name. My name is Michael Peppertech. I don't know. I think
it sounds cool with the Australian accent too.
Maybe that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When was the last time you took
cool.
time off work to play? When was the last time you took time off work to play a video game?
Me? My work is video games. So I don't.
That's the trick.
I guess today I finished prep for Dragonrider Happy Hour a little early and got all my email inbox cleaned out. So I was like, I'm gonna stream Resident Evil Village for 2 hours because I had a nice little chunk. Bless you.
I missed the last one.
Bless you.
Spark Attack. Oh, so sneaky. I saw that you played Resident Evil. I was like, I thought we're doing Dragonriders soon. And you're like, I've just got to get a little bit in.
Is it Lady D? I need to know what happens. And I hadn't met Lady D yet. So I wanted to get to that point. But this story, I need to know what happens in the story. So yeah, I guess you could consider that kind of taking off work to play video games. Except for, technically, I can count Twitch as work. Kinda. Yeah. How about you, Maud? When was the last time you took off work to play video games?
I know that my brother does it. So my brother actually plans all of his annual leave when a Forza game drops, so that for those 2 weeks when he plays it all day and all night, he can get the fastest lap time in the world. And it's only for about a day or 3, and then he has to go back to work and he gets beaten. But for that glorious time, he is number 1 on the global leaderboard, is worth it for him. And I respect it.
That's true. I know a bunch of people that work at Alienware that you and I both know, Maud, that took off time around Cyberpunk's launch before that all went to the controversy that became. But in anticipation of Cyberpunk 2077, took time off work for sure. Andrew says it's your birthday next Friday. Happy almost birthday, and that you'll be off work on your birthday. That's very exciting.
Cool.
Dun, 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 dun. Steven says Lady D is what would happen if Maud and Shish did the Dragon Ball Z fusion dance. Is it? Okay.
Go. Fusion.
Hold on. I have to like line it up. Yes. I would have to like back way up to make it happen. John says, never seen Maud before. I'm a new fan. Welcome. Yes, Maud is an amazing content creator and producer and host in the fandom entertainment space. So definitely check out her channel is youtube.com/geekbomb if you want to check out her YouTube channel. And Twitch as well. Yay! Yes, enjoy your birthday, Andrew. All right, Maud, were there any other headlines this week that you're like, I need to talk about this with my friends? Anything else that grabbed you?
Gaming-wise?
Yeah, gaming or tech-wise?
No, I've just been having more tech issues with Elder Scrolls Online. It's the bane of my existence. I'm trying to stream it twice a week, and I'm like, it's such a big game. Like, it's such a big game.
Yeah.
And my Streamlabs was just not doing great with it. But as far as news goes, I don't know. I haven't really gotten anything from the Game Pass on Xbox, which I thought I would have by now.
Okay, you mean like new games?
Yeah. Because I was halfway through Octopath Traveler, and then it was like really kind of easy, and then it got really freaking hard, and I was like,
Yep.
So I've stopped playing that on my Switch.
Mm-hmm. I have that on Switch too.
We're playing Outriders.
Mm-hmm.
What else am I playing? I'm not playing anything on my PlayStation.
Okay. Yeah, right now I'm playing through Horizon Zero Dawn. And so Maud, do you have a PlayStation 4 or a PlayStation 5? Remind me. 4?
Yes.
Okay.
I wasn't sent a free one, Trisha.
No, that was the biggest surprise of my entire life. Trust me.
Didn't get anything. I don't have one.
That was the biggest surprise ever. I had no idea that was happening, and I hope that the what is this in the mail short video that I did conveyed that appropriately, but yeah.
The Australian outlet, so like PlayStation Australia got me my PlayStation 4, and then Xbox Australia got me my Xbox One, and then it's like I've been gone for too long, and so or apparently you need to say hi every now and then. I've got to figure that out.
To the Australian version. That makes
I'm
sense.
Gone.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to get an Xbox Series X through a promotion Microsoft was doing with Taco Bell at the Series X launch. So that's how I was able to get the Series X, which was awesome, and I was so stoked and so grateful. And then I just got a package at my door right around the time of the PlayStation launch, or just after the PlayStation launch, that I opened up, and it was a box from Sony. And I am not, as far as I know, I am not and never have been on Sony's list for media or anything. So that's why I was so flabbergasted, because I was like, wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
Did this come to the wrong house? So of course, very, very grateful, like I said, but because of that, I'm now really trying to, when there is a PS5 exclusive like Returnal, I'm like, okay, if I can stream this so that people can see it, and have a way to experience it, since I know so many people are having hard times getting a hand on that hardware, then I want to be able to do that. It's the same thought that I have with PC hardware and PC building and being able to show off games at ultra settings or with ray tracing on and that kind of stuff, is because I'm like, well, not everybody has access to this. So if I can give people access to it in some way, then I want to try to do that.
I got a few questions since you have them both. Which one do you spend more time playing?
Right now?
Have you since you've gotten them?
Probably PlayStation, only because I've been playing through a lot of their backlog. I just happened to play Miles Morales right away, and Miles Morales, and now Horizon Zero Dawn. So because I've been doing full playthroughs of those titles, probably more there. But the Xbox Series X is a gorgeous machine. I've had a lot more technical hiccups on my PS5 than I have on the Xbox Series X. And I forget, what game did they say? This was a news headline this week, and I'm blanking on what game it was. But it's a major title, and it's going to run at 120 frames per second on Xbox Series X and not on PlayStation.
Oh, wow.
And they announced that and came out and said it.
I'm a little more loyal to the Xbox than I am the PlayStation. I much prefer the Xbox UI.
Yeah.
A PlayStation UI, it's a simple thing. But when I press enter, like, X to go into something, and it goes like that, when you're going into, do you know what I mean? Yes. I should be going into it instead of popping out of it. And it's so bothersome for me.
That is a very little thing, but I get it. And you're right. I do much prefer Xbox's UI for a variety of different things. If I want to watch a movie that's a physical disc, if I want to go into, Netflix and other, like, especially for like home theater type stuff, I much prefer the Xbox interface. Partying up and chat, as we've mentioned, I feel like are a little easier. Now, that being said, if you're a PlayStation diehard, those things might come second nature to you on PlayStation, and you don't understand what Maud and I are talking about it feeling a little bit more intuitive on Xbox. So it's a little different for sure. You would love for Maud and Trisha to play D&D online. Maud, have we ever played D&D online together? Besides Dungeons and Flagons.
Yeah, not 5th edition, I don't think. We've definitely played Dungeons and Flagons, which was my homebrew, no rules version of D&D. You were basically in the whole of you're in the first season that I did on SourceFed. I got you back for the entire second season at SourceFed, and it was an homage because you tried to pitch them D&D full version, and they said no. And I was like, I'm going to make it only a half-hour show, and they said yes. And so I got you in on that. Which was so funny because I'm like, there's no rules, and you're like, no rules. No rules. And then I got you in on. I'm pretty sure I've had you on every single season, maybe bar the second to last one.
Yeah, maybe, but yeah, I at least made a cameo.
Yeah,
in a lot of them.
Yeah, if
which
not
is
all
so
of them.
Fun.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
So we've done some D&D together, but like as far as playing it, I have something brewing. So we may be seeing a lot more of Trisha in stuff.
Ooh, this is new, exciting news for me as well. But I see that some of you were saying, can you put Maud's links, youtube.com/geekbomb and twitch.tv/geekbomb and at Maud Garrett everywhere else. I didn't miss anything, right, Maud?
That's pretty much it, yeah.
That's pretty much it. Shadex, thank you for the super chat. Says Oculus Quest 2 VR has 120 hertz as a beta option on the new version 28 firmware. Nice. I do like rules in my games. I know that is a lot of people like D&D to just be the rule of cool. But for me, it grounds it a little bit more in reality when I am adhering to specific game mechanics. But that's okay. That doesn't mean I can't play games that are rule of cool. I just need to like adjust my mindset going in that we're playing specifically rule of cool, because then I also won't try to like meta game it. Like the first time I played Fungeons, I was like, all right, well, I wonder what the area of effect on this spell is going to be if I try to do like a fireball. And you were like, doesn't matter. Just what are you doing? Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Me, I just wake up and choose chaos every day.
I do like a little reality with my magic sometimes. But Maud, I just looked at the time and we have almost gone an entire hour. I know.
Look at us. Okay.
Happy hour. Oh, it's a full hour for happy hour. Look at that.
We had a lot to talk about.
So much to talk about.
Wow.
Like I mentioned, there was extra news this week. Some of it was a little beefier. But ultimately, I enjoy your company, Maud, and everybody watching this. Thank you for spending time with us to wind down our work weeks. Maud, do you have any fun plans this weekend?
I'm excited to not have a jam-packed day. I think I'm going to try and stream. If not that, I'm going to do like a bit of exactly this kind of deal without the news rules, but do like a YouTube live perhaps on Sunday afternoon. But something will happen. Luigi actually asked, Maud question, any relation to Peter Garrett of Midnight Oil fame? Peter Garrett's my uncle.
Oh!
Yeah, so that's a big yes. Yeah.
Was Peter an inspiration for you?
Such a cool dude. The biggest memory that I have, I was 9 years old, and we went to an ice cream parlor. We were on our Christmas vacation, and the ice cream parlor owner was like losing his mind. And he's like, I'll give it to you for free if you sing. And my uncle hands over the money. It's such a baller move. Basically, like, he's like, I'm not someone's monkey, you know, like, I'll pay for the ice cream. Yeah, that was really funny. I thought that was cool. Yeah.
That's very funny. And I actually didn't know that either. You learn something new all the time.
Do you know Midnight Oil? It's a very Australian band. They were massive in the 80s, but like, I don't know if they're like, I think they're in the top 5 or 10 Australian bands of all time.
Cool.
Yeah.
Super cool.
My favorite part is that
we learn new things about our friends all the time. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It is amazing.
So I was there, Luigi, in 2018. Which one? Did you go to the Greek Theatre or did you go to the where was it? The Wilton. Because I was at both of those. It was so good. The best part is like seeing middle-aged men like losing it over the music. And my other favorite part is a lot of the theme of Midnight Oil's music is about thanking the traditional owners of the land, recognizing that, you know, Australia colonized and like really took away a lot of the rights of the Indigenous people. They talk about sort of like stopping uranium mining and protecting the environment. And like the demographic are, again, like all these sort of like middle-aged white men who probably don't even realize that they're singing about this really activist kind of content, but they love it because it's just really good music too. They're all singing the lyrics in the chat. Yeah.
I love that. Well, now I'm going to go down an internet rabbit hole when this is over.
Okay.
I have multiple internet rabbit holes. I am looking at Maud's uncle, and I am taking the Geek Bomb quiz to see what color lightsaber I would have.
Yes, I'm so excited. I've already cast my prediction. I put it in the chat. Hopefully some people saw that, but we'll see if I was even close to right.
We'll see. I won't do it immediately after this because unfortunately, I have a meeting after this. I try not to schedule anything after happy hour so I can just be like, I'm done Friday. But I have a meeting after this, and then since my nephew Max is not here right now, I need to Photoshop a thumbnail and do chapters and all the post-production stuff that I normally do on this hangout after it is over. I don't have my helper. Hopefully he'll be back soon, and then that will free up my Friday afternoons a little bit. But like I said, Maud, this has been absolutely lovely. Thank you so much for joining me.
My absolute pleasure. We'll do this again sometime soon, I hope.
I would love that, and we'll get to chat coming up for a special Power Down, which is something that I do with Maud for Maud's Geek Bomb Patreon backers as well.
It's one of my favorite. We are always very professional online and we watch our P's and Q's, but sometimes girls got to vent and we do it knowing that it's a paid sort of like privileged video, but we get some shit out there, life lessons. We do some soul searching a lot of the time. Yeah. It's not there for your geek content. It's there for your, you know, the soul content.
You're like everyday, just needing to like exist through life content. So yes, we'll have to do that soon. All right, to everyone in chat who's been here today, thank you so much for participating. Thank you for chatting. Thank you for hanging out and spending some time on your Friday afternoon or evening or whatever time zone you are in. I don't know that anybody's watching this where it's currently Saturday morning for you, but thank you for spending that time with us. You're amazing. The Dragonrider Happy Hour is something that happens every Friday right here on YouTube at 2 p.m. And Maud, when will you be live next?
Actually, tonight, I'm going to be playing Dungeons & Dragons with Satine Phoenix on her channel, twitch.tv/Satine Phoenix. I'm going to be reprising my Siren character, Shadow, who is a very, very old ranger who plays the drums, and she's seen everything. So she's just a bit jaded and likes to get drunk. But yeah, that'll be tonight from 6 p.m. PT.
And you said that's on Satine's Twitch channel, right?
Satine's Twitch channel, yeah.
Awesome. And the next time I will be live is Sunday morning for the traditionally Sunday morning chill stream. But I'm like, I guess if I play Resident Evil Village, it will not be a chill stream. But I don't know. I don't know that that's what I'll be playing Sunday morning. But Sunday morning, I will be live on Twitch as well. So everyone have a wonderful rest of your afternoon. Stay safe, stay healthy, and be kind to one another. And I will see you soon. Maud and I will see you soon. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Dragonriders.